All right, good afternoon, everyone. So today we're going to be going over our first civic study packet, talking about our founding documents. And so we're going to be covering a lot of important information in this class period, starting with the Declaration of Independence. So before we get into that, does anyone know what the Declaration of Independence is or was? Bonus question, does anyone know what day this document might have been created? Okay, so all of those are great answer choices, and so today we're going to identify and explore answers to a lot of these questions. And so what we're going to be doing today is a small reading passage where we're going to gather some facts, highlight details, and also take note. All right, so what I want us to first do is go through the paragraph or go through our passage, and I want you to number each paragraph. Okay, so after we're done numbering our paragraphs, we should see that we have 6 paragraphs that we're going to read. And so we're going to take turns reading each one of these paragraphs and highlighting important facts and details from each one. I'll go ahead and start off the first paragraph, and then I'll pick someone else to read. Declaration of Independence. The United States of America became an independent nation in the late 1700s. Before that, the English settlers in North America lived as subjects of the King of England. Colonies would no longer accept British rule. Okay, so now that I'm finished reading that first paragraph, what are some key details and facts we can take from it and maybe highlight? All right, so I'm gonna have someone else read, and we'll continue to highlight the information. All right, now that we have all the information that we need reading from the text, we can now answer some review questions to just test and see if we understood what we just read, as well as take the information we highlighted and apply it to these questions to help us. So number 1 asks, what did the Declaration of Independence do? And so let's look back into our notes and see if we can find the answer to that. Very good. So the Declaration of Independence helped separate and free the United States from Britain's rule. All right. Number 2, when was the Declaration of Independence adopted? We can see that the date of adoption was July 4th, 1776. And so that's going to wrap up our assignment for today, and hopefully we've strengthened our understanding on what the Declaration of Independence accomplished for America. Upon review of my assignment, identify some pros and cons to how this lesson might have been received by my student body. And so some of the pros, I think that the information was very straightforward and easy to understand. I think students that had a variety of students' reading levels could be applied, and a lot of opportunity for comprehension to be achieved in this assignment. I think circling back with review questions at the end was a great way for students to use the knowledge that they gain to apply it to these answers, which not only strengthens their self-esteem, but their self-efficacy and ability to use the same techniques when they apply it to different subjects. I think this subject does a great job of addressing reading levels. It's great practice to get text to work on fluency, the pronunciation, and things of that matter. Ultimately, I think these assignments can be done in a group setting as well as individually, which helps with the implementation. You can create small groups. You can also do one-on-ones and sit a student with an aide and help on the same needs, but in a more in-depth manner. I think this is a great way to welcome new subjects as well as cover broad ideas in a unit. I think with the civics test, it's very important that we focus on topics that build upon each other. And so the Declarations of Independence is a great way to start when it comes to student civics and U.S. government. It's basically our government and how it's the foundation of the rights that are given, the positions that help protect those, those decisions and those rights, and how checks and balances all come into play. I think my teaching is very interactive. I do require a lot of participation in my lessons just because I feel when kids are engaged and active in conversation, I think those are the best methods of retaining information when you're being a part of it. And so I think my lesson requires a lot of that. There's a lot of pictures in this assignment, this worksheet. So if I were to scroll back up, there are 3 pictures, 2 of which are faces. And so say students are able to put faces to names and immerse themselves in the content that's being covered. My name is Mark Sanders, and I teach U.S. history, and this is my implementation of an instructional unit.